So, having spent 22 years in the lead generation, cold calling, appointment setting game, I have databases out the wazoo for generating contact data. And a friend of mine in a group on Voice AI has created a tool called bizscraper.net. Today, we're going to go ahead and review that tool, give you some insight and some information on how great that tool is and how it could be effectively utilized within the Firebringer suite to generate leads, appointments, and ideally sales. All right, make sure the microphone is on. There we go. All right. So, today we're going to give a quick review of bizscraper.net. This is a data scraping tool created by a friend of mine who has done a really good job. Now, with Seamless, which is my usual data source, I pay about zero point 0.8 cents per lead. He's got it down to 0.1 cent per contact. He's working on a few things. As you can see, his pricing on the month to month is not bad. I'd probably go with this unless you're doing like large scale outreach call center style. Equals a 50,000 contacts. That's more contacts than you're ever going to need. He's got a sample, and we are actually going to put in a sample version. And I don't know if he's actually going to go ahead and approve this because I've actually gotten some things, but we're going to go with digital marketing agencies, not because this is a good target for us as customers, but because this is actually a great referral partnership for us. I'm going to go ahead and put in my other at edgestaffing.com. Get your free sample. You do talk about it. You talk about it a lot. He's kind of a weird guy, so he's got some fun stuff put into his thing. So this, and now if we go over to my email, and of course I've got this thing up here. This is an old domain that I don't really necessarily want to keep, but I keep renewing it at last minute anyways. We may or may not actually get this thing for today or in the short while. But right now his bot is scraping. But what I'd like to show you, and I'm going to probably filter some of this here in a little while, but within our sustainable package, this is the thing right here that I want to show you. The summary, right? Because what this summary is a summary of what the business does. Now, for those that have seen my make automation when it comes to cold email outreach that's personalized at scale, what I normally have going on, that's not the right one. What I normally have going on is a web interface. So we do an HTTP GET. That's not the right one either. Maybe this one? Yeah, there we go. We do an HTTP GET that searches the company's website for the prospect out of the data, parses it to HTML, and then personalizes it so that it gets that. With the methodology that he set up, or the system that he set up, what I actually end up getting is the list has a summary in it, the same kind of summary that my web scrape would generate. So that saves me operational steps. This was set as a follow-up to make sure that it had the information about the previous email. But once those emails go out, we sent a cold email and we got zero response from that. But we did determine our deliverability, pulled out the bad leads, and then sent a follow-up email. Now that follow-up email went to far fewer people because we pulled out the bad leads. And I'm going to tell you that 87% deliverability rate, we got 13% that were bounced emails. That's actually really good for a list over my experience, unless you've got really, really qualified inbound or something like that. But for cold list, 87% deliverability is really good. And then out of that 87%, we ended up getting about a 4% response rate. Now, anybody who has not responded and was not a negative or a bounce back actually goes into our call tool and gets fed into the automation so that it can call them based on that information. And one of the things I can do is actually have the summary of the company, the emails, all of that stuff fed into the context for each lead, so that when that contact gets that call, what they are actually getting is a personalized call, a call that already remembers, hey, you've been emailed twice. This is what we discussed in the emails. We'd like to go further on that conversation, right? So that right there is a sales system, an entire sales blueprint. It goes from, we have our summary, we have our email addresses, we have our phone numbers, we have all the information we need. We send out personalized emails. We send out two. After there's one, then 2 days later, second one. The second one did generate some follow-up or some responses. Then we set 2 days later a call sequence that goes through the entire list. That generates leads pretty good, generates those appointments, gets us in there, and all because of BizScraper. Go ahead and use your sample if you can, but it's totally worth $49 a month to get 50,000 contacts, guys. That's, as far as the cheapness of the contacts, that's comparable with some of the cheaper ones out there. But as far as the quality so far, 87% deliverability, pretty consistent with what I'm looking for. It is a good system. So bizscraper.net. Go ahead and check that out if you get a chance, and we'll see you in the next video.